Yo boys, how's it all going? I've got a very, very special video for you all today. I'm joined by Muheez or something. I had to sort of link up.
We had to, bro. We're too close to not doing it.
Yeah, 100%. And we're sort of like in the same industry and know the same people. We've already had like a ton of combos out there, and it's just like it's been flowing already. Like the knowledge has been insane, and I think already I'm starting to see the power of networking. Yeah, we're just kind of go into it. I think we're just gonna kind of go off on the we'll just talk about the industry, talk about some things. If there's anything you want to ask me or just kind of bring up in general, I'm all for that 100%. So I think the best way to start is, how did you first get into this whole online income space and the agency space in general?
Yeah, so I pretty much started off as like, I don't know what this whole space was like a year and a half ago, basically. Because I just came in and it was pure delusion at the start. It was like, I was looking for solutions to help me be more productive. I came across one video. I watched it and I was like, oh, this business model looks cool. Let me try it. Yeah. And that was literally it. Like, I didn't watch any other sort of videos. It was just pure delusion and like really good marketing that kind of like lured me in. That's one thing I'm like, a lot of people get bad stick for it of like, oh, these gurus, they're so good. They always trick these people, but at the same time, it makes you believe what's like actually possible essentially. So I think that's also a good thing. And once I figured out what was possible, got a course, didn't know anything for like first 2 months. I was completely lost, and then got on a call with someone that actually knew what they were talking about, and they pretty much like gave me advice and like changed my whole life. And ever since then, it's just been signing clients, solving problems, signing clients, solving problems. So that's kind of like a very short way of how I kind of got started into it. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, 100%. I got into the industry. Well, I previously had like a lot of make money online tries. Like I tried the classics of dropshipping, Amazon FBA, etc. I actually, pretty interestingly, because a lot of people come from email, right? Like very big viral content, like you said there, his funnels are unbelievable. And it's really cool as marketers now, as I can kind of not look at it as like a angry mindset. I can look at, oh, it's fantastic for yourself, like fantastic ads, right? But I got into it through Grant Cardone, right? So I don't know if you do, but Grant Cardone did Undercover Billionaire. When I was shown, essentially unbelievable, right? He stripped him off of all his contacts, everything. And he essentially had to build $1 billion company in, I can't remember how it was, 150 days, something like that. But he essentially done the agency model, right? He done the SMMA model. So he'd go around to businesses, do some marketing. I was like, wheels started turning, maybe I could do that in I was thinking small at the time, like local town, kind of, Facebook ads or lead gen or, whatever that was. And I was like, this is a really good business model, because at the end of the day, like, I think the difference with SMMA compared to, or just like an agency, consulting business, whatever it is, compared to like different business models, is like, I love the fact that you build your own portfolio. 100%, you build your own leverage over time and it compounds. Whereas with other business models, you're always kind of like a commodity in the system, right? If, for example, a product doesn't work anymore, right? You're off season or your whole business is shut down. For me as a founder, that's like really scary, right?
You can't have that.
So I got into Grant Cardone, like just he was doing the kind of agency model, and then I kind of looked at that and went, what is this? No one's doing this. This is 2022, right? SMA's, a lot of people are doing it, but at the time I thought no one was doing it. So I tap up in mine, I'm like, oh my god, everyone's doing it. And I go through the beginner nightmare where it's like video, like Facebook ads, like learning how to do Facebook ads, even though we know now, like, why would I even sit there for an hour learning how to do Facebook ads when I don't know like what an offer is. So it's like
so many people like show different styles of doing it. That's why like sometimes when I look at the agency marketing right now, it's like a lot of it is like so bad. Like a lot of it is like just like telling people to do different things, and like people jump into it, they believe, and they have no idea why certain things actually work. So that's why another thing I've realized is that there isn't a lot of people that are actually like really good at what they're doing. That's why a lot of the times agency owners get like really bad rep, because they work with these businesses and they burn them over. Like, how many times have you probably had a conversation with people where they're like, oh, I don't want to pay anything up front, I've been burned 50K before or something like that. And it's like, you see that happening all the time. So it is kind of a good thing, but at the same time it's a bad thing for the market, because you just have to be 10 times better than everyone else, like to be able to like justify signing a client that pays you a lot of money essentially. So
yeah, 100%. I think with the agency game in general at the moment, I think you're seeing a real shift in the market. What the videos are kind of like very old, right? I've been pushing the angle of SMA 2.0 because I really do believe it is SMA 2.0, because I believe that the way the market's changing, if you decide to go down that same route where like there's no leverage, there's no authority, there's no audience. Like it's so difficult.
Yeah, so difficult. Yeah, you can't do it. And a lot of people are copying SMMA. I didn't know you came up with it actually.
Yeah,
like,
bro, I saw it because I put up a story the other day, like, and it was like some guy, like, exact same title.
Word for word.
I mean, Joe's funny thing, he copied my backstory. So with my backstory, Facebook ads, 5K a month, terrible profit margins, clients all churned up the first month, terrible service delivery. And then he, like, I watched the video, he was like, copied the same backstory. I was like, that's crazy. Like,
yeah, I know. That's why I realized a lot of people, there's no originality. They just see someone doing it and be like, no, don't just copy through it. And yeah, like there is a shift and like everyone's starting to do all these types of things. I mean, we're seeing all these like new names, new conventions and stuff like that. But like, I guess what you're trying to say is that like building something like an agency without some sort of leverage is pretty much, it's too difficult. You can't do that essentially. Like, especially moving forward into like 2024, like it's just like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for many reasons. And I think one of the things I've tried to do is not look at like SMMA in sense of like my business is like SMMA rules, more like business rules.
Yeah.
Like, why would a customer come into my service? How can I deliver a great service? What are variables that go into fantastic delivery instead of like, oh, okay, like hire a media buyer, do this, do that. I think that's a very like short thinking, right? Just thinking like, how do I copy and paste some tactics? Whereas you need to think, how do I build a really, really good business? Like just business in general. Because you always see it, the people that sustain, the people that actually do really well, they follow those principles. They don't follow like, let's do this.
Yeah, they don't follow the principles. They're just constricted to like agency in general. Like people that do well, and what I realize is that they look outside just the agency model as well. To like, for example, you read books like outside just business in general, and that gives you insights that you can apply to like your own business. Like for example, psychology. Like for example, like actual sales and like actually how to run a team and whatnot. And if you don't apply those things, it's like you're putting your field of focus like too narrow. It's just like focused on, oh my god, like SMMA, high profit margins. You watch all of those videos and you almost become like brainwashed in a sense. Like, when people try to say, oh, hey, this is not how you actually do it. Like you actually have to do it this way. You're like, no, because you just watch all these YouTubers that have rich cars and you're like, they said I should do it this way, so I'm going to do it that way. And it's like they have like no leverage or anything like that.
Why do you think so many people quit in that phase then?
I think what ends up happening is that they don't understand how to expand their timeline and they don't actually realize what is actually required to skill them up. So I think we had this conversation before we even started this where people would jump in the first 4-6 months, you don't even know what you're doing. Like you literally have no idea. You're just watching other people. You have no mentors probably because you can't afford to like pay them. It's like you have no idea. So like you're literally just watching videos and you're trying to piece together everything, which is like very difficult because I like to kind of break into like pyramids of competence. So what I like to call unconscious incompetence is when you're not aware of how bad you are. So a lot of people that start out and everyone goes through the stage where you're unconsciously incompetent, where you have no idea how bad you are. So what ends up happening is you watch all these videos and you don't know what's good or bad. So you just keep piecing everything together and you end up creating like this sort of mess. And that ends up happening for like around 4-6 months. And a lot of people, they don't understand that when you start out, you're always going to be in that period. So they get in that period and they're not aware of what that period actually is, and they just give up because they're like, you know what, this is not gonna like scale me up. And that's where I think a lot of people like drop off essentially.
I think for sure in that, I think there's always going to be a delay on just because as well, like a lot of people are young people, right? They're coming into the industry at even like 20 years old is very young. They're essentially going from a point of life where everything to do with their dopamine receptors, the way they perceive the world, you know, what they want to do is fun, their focus levels. It's like it's such a paradigm shift. Like in a year, it's too much for someone to then go, okay, I'm gonna really figure it out, work really hard, focus a ton. So I think people really need to account for that time. Like I said, 4-6 months, we've even set out that like it could even be more because even especially if it's your first ever business, and especially if it's literally your first ever business, it can be really, really difficult at that beginning phase. And I think that's why so many people drop off, which is unfortunate because you do learn. Like you do get a ton better. Like you start actually piecing it together. And I think you should really go off, because I personally believe anyway, everybody's going to have their own way to be successful. I think looking at someone and going, wow, like that's how we got successful, so I'm going to follow this path, he did this there, is actually really, really unintelligent, right? Because they scaled in maybe a different phase, different market. Like you said, like people coming up with unique mechanisms, right?
Yeah, literally it always happens. And I've seen a lot of people where they're trying to copy things when it's already been like rinsed to death. Like I know this one person. Can we like mention names on the podcast?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I mean like
We'll talk about it,
yeah, I mean like there's people that like they find a gap in the market like really intelligent and they just like run through it, they scale up and they make like a shit ton of money. And what ends up happening is everyone's like, oh, let me replicate what he did, but it's like you've got like 20 other people trying to replicate what he did when he's already replicated it, and now you're reaching out to people who already bought from this person and they're like, oh, I can't do this anymore. And it's like you have to figure out how to number one, understand like market timings and also create your own new waves as well too, and build up an audience where you can then go to them and basically do essentially what you're trying to copy essentially. But people don't understand that concept of market timings because, and also how like markets work, because they don't know anything about business. They're just watching some guys on YouTube, and it's not their fault because those guys as well too, they don't really use business principles as well too. They just because a lot of the times they might have scaled in markets where they're just super open. So they didn't really understand what happens when something becomes saturated. So I think that's kind of like what our difference is because we're in like very saturated markets and there's a lot of people that are like trying to copy us. So it's forcing you to adapt every single day. So it's like you know how to deal with saturation, you know how to deal with this, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, and I think there's two levers that because people need to understand that, right? And they need to be aware of it and then act on it. I think there's two levers that are going to allow you to actually carve a different path for yourself and actually be successful, right? Because there's a ton of success to get within the industry. I think one, it's just offer. Like a lot of people's offer is just too similar. Like I'm even down to like the pricing model, like everything to do with the offer, messaging, positioning, and then two, you. Like it has to be you, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're trying to be everybody else, like you said, you're just going to hit constraint after constraint after constraint because the market's already been sold to. It's like, oh, okay, I've seen this guy who's a little bit better doing this. Like you don't have the leverage for me to go there, which is very, very difficult because then as a beginner you say, oh well, what do I do?
Yeah.
Right, because they're very, very confused, and then obviously they get frustrated, and it leads to different emotions, which ultimately either failure or they quit the industry. But I think that for everyone, that's really, really important. Another thing that I'm realizing, and I don't know if you kind of agree with the same, it's like and I've been saying this a lot in my videos recently. It's like a lot of people look at the top dog in the industry. So there's a couple of names like Jeremy Powell, the top dogs in the industry, right? And they're going, okay, well he like runs ads to scale, right? So.
Bro, they're so
bro. So like Mr. Zero followers is sitting here with no client results. If you're I'm like my friend, you are burning your money because you don't understand business.
Yeah, it's so crazy, bro. There were so many people. I remember I saw that like thing where it's like scaling with ads incentives and stuff like that. I'm like, what are these guys talking about? Then I see it's the exact same thing that this person is using, and they're just like copying it. And it's so funny because they copy the word like the ad like word for word, bar for bar. Like they don't change anything. They're just like, oh, this is gonna work, and it's like I think they don't realize that. That's what these types of people as well too. They will outspend you like all the time, and it's like all these people that even come on your profile, they're gonna see your profile and they're gonna be like, "Where's the reason to follow?" But like, there's no results, there's no cases, there's barely any content. Like, why should I follow you? Why should I not go with him? And it's like you could be doing the same amount of thing. You could even get better results that way, but you're not signing that client. You can even be cheap as well too. That's what these people don't understand. It's all perception.
100%. And I think I think what reason why people don't understand it is because they think like when they're running an ad, they think very, very numerical. They think very like, oh, I'm running ads like metapixels. But the incentive to come on a profile is people are human psychology.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, oh, is it going to help me? Because everyone's self-centered. Like, is it going to help me? Is it going to provide value? Perception's huge. Like, is this person living, is it like results, case studies? And these people don't have that, but they're looking at the top dog in the industry and like, oh, he's running ads, like he's doing really well. What a lot of you don't understand, these people are spending 20 grand a month
on ads.
Literally. Right?
Like they will spend 10K to acquire a client or pay them 10K. Like they will do that. That's the thing. I mean, I think they can't fathom it and they don't realize that they can't outspend these guys. So that's when like, it's just so funny when like I saw a lot of people preaching the new wave of like, no, everyone needs to start running ads now. And then I realized that all these people that are running ads, they have like no case studies, no leverage, nothing to offer because now when people are landing on your profile and they're asking the question in their head where it's like, okay, what's in it for me? There's basically nothing in it for them, just a bunch of reels and they're just like, alright, cool. Like there's nothing here. It's not like you where you have case study docs and you have like testimonials, client results that they can see and be like, okay, cool, there's something in this for me. And then imagine someone else that's a beginner, 100 followers, and they're trying to copy the exact same strategy. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, and it's funny because like what people don't realize about markets as well is like as more people do the thing, the thing's ability, like the quality of what you're doing just goes down, right? Like if everyone's running the same ads, like we've seen it every single time. Like currently we're running no Instagram ads, we're just running YouTube ads.
Yeah.
Because like YouTube ads is a different type of platform, right? Like Instagram is like, because a lot of people personally, this is just like my diagnosis of it, right? A lot of people have the funnel where it's like, oh, okay, Instagram to YouTube, right? But to me, it's like, is YouTube the big player?
Yeah. YouTube is like, they don't understand, like YouTube is literally cold and middle, like cold traffic and like middle of funnel. It's like literally just that. So it's like, if you can tap into that and you say this now, everyone's going to start doing it.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like shit. I was like, YouTube ads in Jackson.
Everyone's going to start doing it. But it's like, they will do it, but like, they're not going to be able to copy it because you have like almost a year worth of videos.
Yeah.
That's like a year worth of like middle funnel content that's actually good and like people can take action and get results. So people don't see that, and then they're like, oh, let me start running YouTube ads. They go and spend like $1,000 on that, they get like no results. I've had people, they came to me, they told me they spent like 2.5 because they told
someone YouTube ads?
No, not YouTube ads, just like on Insta ads in general.
Yeah,
they said, oh, we spent this much, they didn't get any results. I looked at their profile, no results, no case studies.
Yeah.
And they just spent all this money and they got like 500 followers. Bro.
Yeah.
And they're not even coaches. So, it's actually kind of crazy, and it's sad as well too because everyone just gets deceived by all these people. At the same time, I can't blame it. It's like it's really good marketing. That's the thing. You just have to respect it for what it is.
Because if someone's losing at the end of the day, like this is just how life works. Someone's winning.
Yeah.
Right? Someone's always benefiting off of people's losses in general. Why do you think there has been such a big craze about the funnel, the Instagram? I was like, why do you think the market has, like, the perception of that, of leveraging that thing has just blown up?
Yeah, because like it's new and it's fancy and it's like it's working. So everyone always likes to gravitate to what's new and what's different. Like regardless of what it is, if you can be different and you can have like some new mechanism. It was so funny. My friend was watching this video and it was like one guy that said, "Oh, if you missed the whole make money with ChatGPT wave, here's another trend for you guys to follow."
Yeah.
And he said that, and there were people commenting like saying, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And it's like it's so funny because they're visibly doing like, "Hey, here's something that didn't work before. This one's new. Try it out. It's different." And then people try it out. It's different just because of the fact it's different. It doesn't need to be even better than what was before. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to work better. It doesn't need to be more efficient. Just because it's new, they're gonna follow it. So I think having new things and just using the market angle of like new and easy gets a lot of people very interested. So
yeah, and I think that's something we realized about the top of our funnel recently. Is like a lot of the market are just very confused, right? So it's like you need to kind of simplify the system. Like our kind of, I don't know, we're just talking like about us now, but like our top of funnel was very like what the middle of funnel maybe should have been, right? And because I think top of funnel leads are like everything. Yeah. Right, like if you ain't got top of funnel leads, like everyone's problem could be solved there more lead flow. Like people just have no lead flow. Like it's like I like to use the analogy of like when you're like trying to like your toothbrush has got no toothpaste left.
Yeah.
You're like
you're trying to squeeze it out.
Bro, you can't. Like it's very, very hard to do. I wanted to ask you about the difference between serving, because I've noticed this big time. Like we're working with someone who sold his company for 8 figures, 0 to 33 million sales. He ran like, this is a good example of that, right? He ran like 150 ad spend, 12K collected, but he has 33K Instagram following, right? So what is your, because I know you have some big clients as well, some big names. You 0 to 54K a month, impressive. But it's like, what's the difference? Why can we do that with these clients and not other clients? Like, what's the difference you think?
Yeah, it's all about like the leverage and also the skill set as well too. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that case study as well. We did with Hassan where we scaled him to 54. Where he was like, he came from a background where he's already sold 3 million in sales. So like anyone that has money and is remotely qualified, he will take the money. Like it's just like it's that simple basically. So you don't need to be getting this person 10 calls a day for him to be making like 54. I think at one point we were booking like just 3-4. And he still made that amount of money. So it's like the leverage is one thing, and also their profile, and also what they've been able to do in the industry is another thing, and also the offer as well too. So the thing they're actually selling, because a lot of the things is like I like to call when I'm talking to my clients, I'm like basically you guys are slaves to your offer. So what I basically mean by that is that you're basically going to like bow down to how good your offer is. If the offer is not good and if the market isn't ready to receive that offer, you're only going to make as much money as the market and as good as your offer is. So he had very good market timing. He had a good story. He had all that type of stuff. He had everything that was very easy for him to fall in place.
Yeah.
He just needed more people to know who he was. And that's the problem that a lot of people have to solve. Like, I think Grant Cardone said it. The biggest problem that a lot of people have is obscurity. Not a lot of people know them. So when you solve it for those people that have like insanely high leverage and insanely high skill sets and really good products and offers, it's like everything just like falls into place essentially. So for me, what I like to look for in clients when I'm trying to work with them is how good is the offer? Like, how good is the offer? What leverage do they have? And are they actually good at the thing they're doing? Because what ends up happening is it just makes my life a lot easier to get them results. Essentially. And I'm sure it does for you, like that guy that you're working with, 8 figures. It's like people just want to throw money at him because he knows what the fuck he's doing. So yeah.
Yeah, even the everything with the marketing strategy is completely different. Like because I know for a lot of people it's like Instagram ads, nurture, etc. For this client, it's just YouTube direct form, right? But it worked because hey, I've done this, I've got this leverage. Here's these results. Bad clients, right? People throwing in money, which is so important. I think people get it a little bit backwards in the sense that they try and get a ton of lead flow in, and then like they've just got no back end. Like there's no incentive around what you are doing, which comes back to the point of like, okay, how do you tackle that? And it's like just time.
Yeah.
Like this whole industry is a very, very long-term industry. You said like Hassan there, he's very, very well known for a lot of things within the industry. He's got a lot of networks with connections within the industry, so it's very, very easy for him to sell. But for a complete beginner, it's like you don't have a network, you don't have connections, you don't have any of this stuff, and it's like then you're trying to bring a ton of lead flow in. You're trying to leverage all these conversion mechanisms that you're working for the guys who have 6 years prior back end.
Yeah, and they don't realize this as well too. I mean, like you can even be a testament to this. Like, how easy would it be? I mean, like you can compare this. Like, compare you working with that client right now to clients that come in that have like no leverage, or complete beginners. It's like you end up doing more for those guys than actually people who have more leverage. Essentially.
Yeah, 100%. It's just more of like a more hands-on, and then when you take that away from your business, you can't do the rest of it. I wanted to ask you, what do you believe, like just like a business sense, not like so much like offer outreach, has been like the one business principle you just kick yourself? I was just gonna say fucking, but YouTube monetization, which pays zero, by the way. Like, I'll show you later, it's funny. But has been like the one lesson you just fucking kick yourself if you didn't know sooner. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, I think I shared recently my story. It's honestly, no one told me this. It was honestly just expectation management.
Yeah.
And like expectation management, because that obviously equates to more results, happier clients, and just like having a healthy business essentially. So what I mean by expectation management, it might sound something like, oh, it's simple. Like I just say what's gonna happen. But I mean like managing like expectations. Like first thing you do when, let's say I onboard a setter or anything like that, I tell them exactly what's going to happen, how they're going to get paid, how they're basically going to be responsibilities. I make that very clear. So when everything's running, I barely have any problems. Like I don't have setters like leaving out of nowhere, blah blah blah, because I manage it so well. But previously, before this, I would just be like bending over to what the client wants me to do. I'll be like, oh, do this. I'm like, okay. And then when I'm like, hey, I don't think we can actually be doing this. This is a lot more than what we paid us for. They're like, oh, you should have said something sooner. Like, oh, we're already doing this now. You can't change it. And then ended up they just leave essentially. So I think that was like one of the biggest things that I had to learn like the hard way, because I feel once you understand that, you're very unstoppable, because you can go into any plan. You can be like, hey, this is exactly how it's going to go. This is the expectation, these are the deliverables, this is what's going to happen. Let me know if you're good with this. And if they tell you yes, you're going to have the smoothest client experience ever. Like, I don't really get as many clients like complaining about XYZ, but before it was very just giving me a bunch of tasks and I would just be doing it because I didn't understand the concept of understanding the expectations. So I feel like once I understood that, my life was just a lot easier. What about you?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I just want to touch on what you said there. I think it's really, really interesting. I think this is good advice for everyone as well. You didn't even just say expectation management just for clients, but for like your team, right? For your SOPs, for your onboarding. I think for me, for sure, it's a hard question, but I think just cause and effect, feedback loop. Like everything that I do, I can see like, okay, we booked a lot of calls here, or this client was really happy with this, or things are flowing here. I can just see okay, it's a clear feedback loop. Like I done something, like I done an input, create an output, and I can clearly see it. I can define it. I can see, okay, what were the constraints that stopped it, and I can then, you almost collect like this weird, like you always collect data on yourself.
Exactly.
You know, like you're like, and that's what's so powerful again about being a year into the game, where I can just see, okay, I do this way, happens like this, go into a flow or whatever it is. It's just okay, cause and effect, right? And I've collected so much data on myself where I can operate the business better. And I just like with delivery, right? Because I think this is a big one. Because I think knowledge, like cause and effect, is better than knowledge, right? In the sense that everybody likes to perfect their service delivery before they've signed like 10, 15 clients.
It's crazy.
Right?
See, I've seen that before.
Bro, because it's like you'll never know the feedback loops of like, okay, like what was this process? How did the market react to this when you implement maybe a new VSL funnel, whatever it is? There's only so much you can do on the sideline. Once you start picking up that data of like, okay, this happened, input, output, right? You can start and build fucking insane systems once you've got that 10, 15 clients. Like now it's like we've gone back and gone, okay, we need to do it this way, because of just what we've done. Not like on the sideline of it.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And it's good because like you get data and then you optimize based on what that data is, because a lot of people, and that's a big problem as well, they don't actually have any data. And it's like they're making all of that decisions based off like theories and just like, oh, I think this should work, let me try this out. And that's what's keeping a lot of people like very stuck. And the fact that I think one of the blessings that I had is that beginning when this whole like content thing was coming through, is that I actually had clients, and I had clients that were, I basically had clients that were telling me their problems. They were like, yo, when am I getting leads from this? Like, how can you get this? Oh, we're getting leads, but no one's booking calls. And that feedback loop was basically making me implement. And that's why I think my offer became so sophisticated, like extremely quickly, because I actually had data that was coming through, but a lot of people don't have the luxury of having that data coming through like very quickly. So yeah, that's what I realized, and I feel like once you have that, life just changes. So yeah,
it just becomes so much easier. And I think with this whole industry, I've really realized like the effect of compounding.
Yeah.
Right. Like a lot of people, and it's really funny because a lot of people say to me like, I tried outreach for 2 months or whatever it is, and it didn't work, so I shut it off. I'm like, if you would have gone for at least another 2 months, 3 months, you would have got some insane compounding effect where you just all rolling in is from there. Right, but people don't realize that. People don't think about what they're actually doing, because your little inputs that you're doing now actually have a way greater, just the expiration date. You need to just widen your timeline, because other than that, you're just going to be getting very, very frustrated. You're going to become very emotional, and you're going to hate yourself and your business. You're going to hate who you become in your business. What I realize is like every time I've done better, I've just liked who I am when I run a good business, right? When it comes to just like low stress with clients, there's many ways you can do that. I want to get your insight on the retainer versus, because I know that's a big thing at the moment. Scrapping the retainer.
Yeah.
For me personally, it's been so much more streamlined, but I want to get your kind of opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, like
there's a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are like showing this like new thing where it's like, take their house up front and then also like I've seen a lot of people like doing that, but what I've realized is to be able to do something like that, number one, you need a shit ton of leverage, and you need a lot of case studies and a lot of testimonies to be able to like pull something like that off. And at the same time, actually put your clients in a worse position when they do pay that, because it creates friction and they don't even get to experience your thing before they do. So I remember this new offer. I think one of my clients were telling me, "Yo, this new offer is super sick. Like, check it out." And it was like placing a creative director and like placing like an editor in the business, and like charged them like 10K, and they would do it. And I looked at the first 3 minutes. I'm like, why is this like? I was like, I messaged him. I was like, tell me anyone who's making money selling this. Like, there's no one. Like, I don't know anyone who's selling this thing, because it just doesn't logically make sense. Imagine someone hops on a call with you. They're like, hey, look, like, I want like 30 shorts like every single month. Like, I just want like shorts. And then you're like, okay, cool. Like, so I'm gonna place a creative director in your business and give you an editor. You're gonna have to pay them. I'll give you the SOPs. It's 10K. They're gonna look at you and be like, what? That's not what I want. Because the problem is not because no one doesn't want creative directors. Because the problem with that is like, they make offers based off theories, like just like based off like nothing. Like, oh, I think this would be helpful. Oh, I would pay for this. And it's funny, the people who say that, they don't even pay for that themselves. That's the thing. So they have those offers based off theories and just like based off like, oh, I think this would work. And then people just just like run with it because they see, oh, this person with high leverage is saying this.
I think that's a really good point to come back to the point of like, understand business, don't understand the SMMA hype.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people would look at these types of offers and be like, oh wow, and get into it, wow, I can make, 20K from one client, all this stuff. And it's like, when you break it down logistically, like you've just done there, as someone who just operates within business, it's like, oh wait, like I can see how all the constraints popping. I can see I can feel
exactly. You see that? It's like I was 3 minutes in, and I'm like, bro, this doesn't make sense. I'm like, why am I even watching this video? It's like, and then you see people saying like, oh, this is gonna like change my life. For this new offer, it's like they're not gonna make any money with it. It's like it sucks.
I think with videos like that, I've really taken an aspect on like watching the guy, not watching the show.
Yeah, exactly. Watching what they do, because like, with that model itself, it's like it's funny because you go on to make a crazy amount of money, like marketing that, because people are going to believe them buy into that. That's the thing. So that's the thing about like creating waves and creating your own trends in your own audience, because now everyone's raving about this new like charge crazy amounts of front and then do a retainer, but a lot of people don't actually realize that there isn't a lot of people that can actually pay for something. You have to kind of pick up like other skills like marketing, like sales, like a lot more slower. You end up winning in the long run. So
100%. Because the best marketing will always be getting the damn result, right? Because I was thinking the other day, like people don't think about how the people that are going to pay you are people. And people are going to pay you because they want the end outcome. So if you can't show that you can get the end outcome, you're never going to get paid. You're always going to get paid by people. You always need a client, right? Someone needs to invest into you. So I really think being really, really insanely product focused is like the thing you need to do. And you can really, really tell when you've put a lot of time in your product, when people actually go out of the way and say, this is really good. Because a lot of people have an ego when they buy something, right? And they think that it needs to be ridiculous. Like so step by step, it's ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? Like people want it really easy when they buy it, but if they turn around and you say, this is insane, like this is awesome, like you put a lot of time into this, that's when you know you're building a really good product. Because a lot of people like this industry is very, especially younger, like we just touched on, very egotistical, fast money, kind of everyone's out to kind of
get each other,
get each other, right? So, but another way to tackle it is just time. Right, like you could sit on a product and just like in 4 years, you are now Jeremy Poe. Right? Exactly. Like, but
expanding your time horizon, like a lot of people don't see it because they just want fast money. And I was basically just saying it's like people are gonna win are the people who are gonna be like, okay, cool. Like the people who win will be like, how long can I hold out until the market actually like just drops out essentially. So I think I said this one time in an email as well, like it was about Alex Hormozi. And this was when he was doing like his big like webinar. I was like, I called it like the Hormozi concert. Basically, like I was basically saying he's not going to sell anything because he's playing the longer term game. It's like 100%. He's going to give you all this value. People, not everyone's going to do it, but a lot of people are going to come in, take good knowledge from it, scale the businesses up to maybe $2 million a year, and he's going to get equity in that, which is basically going to be way more worth than what he would have probably made if he sold like $1,000 product or that thing. But that's a longer term game, and he's okay to burn money now to make more later, essentially. And that's the mindset you guys have to, like, at least a lot of people watching this have to have, where it's like, you have to be okay with saying no to money for the short term or for the long term. But the problem comes where it's like, people have to pay their bills, essentially. That's the thing. So it's like, it becomes that battle of like, do I wait or do I go for this? What's like over there, essentially. And it's a difficult battle to play, but it's like, I feel like if you're still aware of it, you can still play that game essentially. So as long as you're aware of the time scale and the time horizon, you can pretty much do what you need to do. So,
I think with Hormozi in general, his whole, well, personally, I think the genius behind his marketing angle is, I'm the guy that never sells anything. I think that is his whole marketing angle. I swear that was his slogan.
Yeah, that was his slogan at one point. Right. It's like, it's funny because he sells the most expensive things. You know how expensive equity is? He's owning your business, bro. It's crazy.
100%. But yeah, I think that was his whole marketing angle, so you never get rid of that for like such a small win, like you said. And with the time scale, I really, really think, because I was thinking like, if there was like an online business playbook, it's like, okay, one of the things that you need is like 2 years of board time. Like you need at least 2 years of like, you're kind of comfortable here, where you can like afford to like kind of learn, and then you'll pick it up after 2 years. You should pick it up after 2 years. Like Grant Cardone said on the podcast, like, and I really, really agree with it, because I know a lot of people say like, success looks like success, fail, success, like that. It might, I don't know about you, I think I've obviously we've been in the same industry, so I can kind of observe your progression. I think you've been very similar in the sense that your success is kind of like, right?
Very slow, yeah.
Very, very slow, but kind of up or stagnant, right?
Like,
I don't like, sorry, yeah, go on.
No, I was just gonna say that it just becomes to a point where it will become exponential at that point. But that's the thing, it's like that small building block. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying, like, I think a lot of people, like, I don't know why this kind of like agenda has been set that like success should be like, okay, at the start when you're a complete beginner, like it might look like that, right?
Yeah.
But like once you find the thing, it's that, right? Because there's only a few inputs that I need to do to make it go like that. Like if you send a DM, like some average per every single day, you post content every single day, you get a product, but you build a better product.
You're building that. Like
you're building. That's like the definition of brick by brick, right? And it goes up. So I think once you find the thing, once you find the opportunity vehicle, like success should really look like that. In my sense, it's like every single month, I feel like even though you have up down months, like you have a crazy month, etc. It's always kind of gone like at least like just foundation business size, like
just basically like that,
right?
And that's the sign of like a healthy business as well too. Like I feel like a lot of people they don't even like understand like it takes a while to get to that point as well because I think even at one point you might not even believe this, but I think one of my friends that actually bought Jeremy's program before like scaled up, he was charging 1.52K for like his whole service. He was like, honestly, I didn't think it was gonna be good. And it's like people don't understand that like back when I was charging people I think it's 10 or something like that. So it's like you have to understand that there is like a learning period and there's a part where you have to build the foundations as well too because it will all eventually just compound on top of each other. So yeah,
100%. I think it's been crazy to see. I don't know if it's just in the last. I think it's like a bit of a trend recently, which makes everyone pretty more wealthy. But like a lot of services and programs are just very high ticket nowadays. I don't know if that's like obviously like services programs have always been extremely high ticket, like the OGs like Ty Lopez, etc. But like a lot of people like not that much leverage are charging a lot of money. Like when you like a lot of money, bro. Like I've seen a lot of people in the industry. I'm like, you need to like calm down a little bit.
100%. And that's what I think one person told me this as well. I was on a sales call with someone and I presented my price and he was like, oh, well, like that's way cheaper than what I initially expected. And part of me was like, damn, I should charge more. But at the same time, I was like, wait, that's my leverage point. It's like I get good results, but at the same time, I'm not going crazy because now I can build up that portfolio, build up that foundation, and then when I need to go crazy, it's literally just like skin and season. And one of my clients said this. It was literally just like your business is literally just like if you really want to scale, you just spend more money in acquisition. Like that's literally what it is. It's like you go crazy if you want to start running emails, if you want to start doing ads, you just put a bunch of money into it and just see what happens. Like, you spend money to acquire more clients, and that's pretty much it. So yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what do you think about just in business in general, leveraging capital, like in different phases, like because sometimes it's like because I say it a lot, and we've been going a little bit crazy recently, but I say it in time, like sometimes you just need to play like not to get burned. Like sometimes play not to lose it. We were saying it earlier with the ads. It's like a lot of people are like, oh, I need to do this, and it's like, a lot of people say invest in your business and leverage capital, but it's like you just need to keep your capital to stay in the game, right?
Yeah,
stay healthy.
Yeah, because like a lot of people are one bad thing away from like not having a business. That's the thing. That's like very scary essentially. So I guess like my methodology is just kind of like for me, a lot of people are like, hey, like spend your capital, like use your money as fuel for your business, but you have to understand that yes, your money is fuel for the business, but you have to look at it in the sense of how can I make everything very sustainable? Like how can I put something very small right now and it will like compound later on? Like a lot of people are like, oh, let me spend money on the broken course, but like if you were to do that right now and these schools open course with you and you have no case studies and you have no clients, then it's like you're just burning money. That's the thing. So it's like you have to slowly get to the point where for me leveraging capital is more.
So hi guys, we just had a little cut off, but like I hope you enjoyed the podcast episode so far. We went over like a ton of things and a lot of actionable steps that you guys can implement to actually see results straight away. Like I said before, guys, make sure you focus on the inputs, make sure you focus on feedback loops, and you will basically see success.
You'll get in this industry, but you've got to be patient.
100%. That's like the biggest takeaway from all of this.
And then you get to a point where you can connect with great people and it just all amplifies from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Obviously, check out Muheez and
check out Lee Jackson. Appreciate this.
Cool, man. Appreciate it.
Sir.